Anderson and knocked it down, so it'll be 2nd down and 10.
Yeah, right away, though, you see some of the stuff that showed up for Emery last week. I have in my notes. Played slow for a guy who's such a special athlete. He's a hitch late on that curl route.
Malik Davis stood up after a gain of a yard on the cutback. So just like that, 3rd down and 9 for the Gators on their first set of downs.
We're going to hear and see number 11, Dwayne Boyles, all over the field today. Huge stop on 2nd down, unblocked at the inside linebacker.
Well, Dwayne Boyles lost his helmet, so he has to come off the field for this 3rd down and 9 for at least one play.
And this is the difference with this Florida offense this year in comparison to last year. Last year, 3rd and 9, they still had a comfort level with the weapons on the outside and Kyle Trask. This year, what receiver is going to step up? And then is the quarterback going to be capable of making the necessary throw on 3rd and long?
Only a 3-man rush. Out of the pocket anyway is Jones. High throw, incomplete. So it's a 3-and-out to start for the Gators. That'll get the Bulls fans here at Raymond James excited.
Fantastic start by the USF defense. Fantastic
little bit of a pass rush on the edge.
Zone blitz,
bit of a pass rush on the edge.
I just want you to zone blitz, some guys rush in there. I just want you to hit route. I love the climb in the pocket. Not necessary to go to your right, start to run. It forces the inaccurate throw. And like you said, the Bulls get off the field.
Jeremy Crenshaw. Excellent punt. Drives Weaver all the way back inside his own 20-yard line. And he's going to go down at the 21. That's a terrific flip of the field for Florida. 56-yard punt. Only a 2-yard return, and the tackle made by Justin Shorter. Well, last week, it was a 45-0 loss at NC State for USF. It was a bad performance, admittedly, for Cade Fortin. We'll see Timmy McClain, the true freshman backup quarterback, at some point for the Bulls as well. But Fortin gets another chance to try and put some points on the board today.
Simplicity for Cade Fortin has to be his focus. Play simple. Make the throws that are there when guys are open. If it's not, check the ball down and just play within side of your game. That's the biggest thing for him today.
We'll start with a handoff to Darian Felix. And Felix with a stiff arm. And that's a nice gain on 1st down. Well, close to 8 yards. Ventrell Miller bumped him out. And watching the game last week, you said something that sounds almost ridiculous when you see 45-0 as the final, but you were encouraged by some of what you saw for USF.
Yeah, I just didn't think the score was indicative of how the game actually went. There was plays there they just didn't make.
Fortin, that looked like a broken play. He's going to lose a yard or two. Brought down by Daquan Newkirk, so now it's a 3rd down for USF.
That ball, I mean, again, the perfect example of the difference, or the same stuff from last week. Fortin has the throw at the bottom of the field. Just throw it, and it's going to be an easy 1st down.
4-man rush. Again, the pocket collapses, and it's going to be a 3-and-out for USF. The first sack of the day. Jeremiah Moon drops Fortin.
Yeah, you're going to see a linebacker flow underneath left side of your screen. Bop to the tight end right there on the 30-yard line. That's where Fortin has to go with that football. Right when 89 turns his head, his tight end Brinkman, just put it on his face mask, and it's an easy 1st down. Moon, an off-the-ball linebacker, great pass rusher. But we've seen both of these quarterbacks just start a little slow mentally in this football game.
South Florida.
South Florida will call timeout.
30 seconds.
We were talking both in the quarterback situations for both teams are somewhat the same. Unknowns at the starters. Got to grow.
How quickly will we see the 2 respective backup quarterbacks? Might find out sooner rather than later. That can play. Where do you fall? Can you operate this way with 2 quarterbacks, or is this a quarterback controversy?
Yeah, you always want to know who the guy is, and I don't know if Coach Mullen is so gung-ho on still not knowing. He really wants one of these guys to go and snatch the job, and I'll go back to it for Emery. It's about the details of the position starting to show up.
Off play action, and there's a strike. Into USF territory. Rick Wells has a 1st down and a gain of 20.
And that's a strength for Emery Jones right there. A little ball fake, you get him on the edge. Wells had such a big game last week. Hopefully he's fine, but really good start to this drive. Getting him out athletically on the perimeter.
Here's a toss to Dameon Pierce. Breaks a tackle. That's another Florida first down. He picks up 15 more.
Great run by Pierce. Sometimes it's BYOB, be your own blocker. You know, there's always going to be a secondary player that is left unblocked. That's the back's responsibility. He did a great job making the point. The safety for USF miss.
Pierce again, turns the corner. He's got Keon Zipperer paving the way inside the 10-yard line. It's first and goal Gators, down to the 7.
Yeah, beautiful job by the left side of the offensive line. Watch Garage and Ethan White work. Zipperer gets his hand extended out. It's an awesome job on the perimeter again by Pierce, but that really starts with the left side of that offensive line, kind of closing the edge of the defense, and Pierce following.
What's the old saying? Set the edge, build a wall.
Yeah.
He just did it.
A seal here and a seal there.
Already 37 rushing yards for the Gators. Pierce again, this time kept his footing. Looked like he lost his balance, hit at the line of scrimmage. He's at the goal line and in for a touchdown. Vincent Davis had a chance to pop Dameon Pierce and bring him down right about at the line of scrimmage. What balance by Pierce to get in.
Just watch Pierce finish this run, and then some of the tight ends and big boys up front. You're going to see Garage, Zipperer number 9 right there, getting in on the party.
You mentioned the great balance in the hole, but I love the physicality that Pierce kept those feet going, those legs driving. He gets himself in the end zone.
Chris Howard adds the point after. And the Gators with a 7-0 lead, getting it done primarily on the ground. One big Emory Jones completion to Rick Wells, and Dameon Pierce did the rest.
Yeah, fantastic run. Look at Emory hold his eyes. Pierce, you got to make that one guy miss. He's yours. Left hand down, balance, and then find the goal line. 7-0 Gators.
When someone's
coming over to the stadium this morning to do the same stair climb here at Raymond James Stadium as Brian Battie is brought down at about the 17-yard line. Our first opportunity to check in with Kevin Nagani.
Good afternoon, Bob. Time now for our AT&T 5G studio update. Let's go to Columbus. C.J. Verdell capping a 99-yard drive. Oregon strikes first, Bob.
Yeah, great play call against man coverage. Wide receiver blocks the linebacker. Easy walk in by Verdell. And then for some reason, the defensive backs is looking down at his wristband. Easy touchdown for Ohio State.
Guys catch the Ducks sleeping. Garrett Wilson, the score. We're tied up at 7 apiece. Back to you and Dan.
A good one in Columbus, and the Gators off to a good start here in Tampa. There's a handoff to Darian Felix. Now, last week, you could see this USF defense for Jeff Scott got gassed, right? They gave up a ton of rushing yards to NC State, in part because their offense could not stay on the field.
Yeah, misses and 3 and outs. It just taxed their defense against the good NC State team.
So just to get a couple of first downs, and now they give themselves a 3rd down and manageable as Latrell Williams comes within about 1.5 yards of moving the chains.
And for an offense that wants to play with tempo, getting a first down is huge because you can't get into the tempo, which is their strength, unless you get that first down.
And it just looks as if Felix pushed the pile enough to pick up a USF first down.
We talked about last week and sitting down with Jeff Scott and Charlie Weiss Jr., the offensive coordinator. It's, hey, you guys were close to some plays. There's some misses in the passing game that were there. There's a miss or two in the run game. How did you guys emphasize it as you see Coach Scott? They said hammer the film, and get those guys to understand it's close.
Well, they bring big Joshua Blanchard out as an eligible receiver, and Xavier Weaver had a step down the sideline. Weaver threw it. Kelly Joyner was wide open, and the trick play comes that close to working.
Talking about being close. I mean, just beautiful play design formation. Weaver with a great throw. Kelly Joyner, the junior, out of Clement, Florida. It's right in your hands.
To beat Florida, to hang with Florida, you have to go make that catch.
Now the misdirection worked, but they couldn't execute. Up the middle. About 8 yards for Battie. 3rd down and 2. Battie with a cutback. And he's got the 1st down.
2 nice cutbacks by Battie. You know, you're trying to get that outside zone, that horizontal stretch, sideline to sideline in your run game. And once you see penetration by defensive linemen, he did a good job of kind of placing that foot in the ground and finding a seam to cut back in. And now this is when you can get into a play calling rhythm if you're Charlie Weiss Jr. for USF.
He broke a tackle in the backfield, got back close to the line of scrimmage, no gain, as Tyron Hopper made the stop for the Gators. Is there any recipe worse for an offense than one that plays with tempo and goes 3 and out, right? Your defense only has about 45 seconds to catch a breather over on the sideline. That was the problem, it seemed, against NC State. This already is progress for this USF offense.
And a big thing is you don't want to be the same tempo all the time. Constantly changing your tempo to keep the defense off balance is big.
Fortin to throw. Finds an underneath turnaround to Bryce Miller. He picks up 6. It'll be 3rd down and 4. Trevez Johnson
and that's
Maya Moon were there.
And Fortin didn't do that last week. He didn't do it in the first drive. Oh, the easy throw is there. Don't try to be a hero. Execute like you have all spring and summer and get the ball out and find a completion. Now you get into 3rd and 4. Can you find a matchup against a likely man coverage for your offense? They love Miller in the slot. Looks like you're going to get blitz at the top of your screen off the left side of the offense. Change your protection, and again, find the matchup you love.
They run away from the blitz with Felix. He gets a push, and he's got the 1st down across the 50.
Something you always kind of want to do against pressure. Watch the tight end, Brinkman, seal that 51, Ventrell Miller, and then kick him out. And a great job by Felix getting up inside.
Now they go empty. 4-man rush. Quick hitter to the sideline. Felix is there. He's got another 1st down.
It's a great play call on that 3rd and 4 to run away from the pressure. You make a big block, and all Felix has to do is get the perimeter. Now you get tempo and easy completion to the sideline.
Now some rhythm for USF. Another screen out to the edge. Latrell Williams has at least 8, maybe 9. It looks like it is good for 9 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 1.
And something right now that USF is having a ton of success with is you're seeing these receivers sideline to sideline. They're flipping the passing strength, making Florida communicate and move after the play finish.
Another screen. Latrell Williams again. He's got the 1st down. Jeremiah Moon tripped him up.
You know, when you're running these receivers from one side of the field to the other, it forces everybody on the defense. Okay, defensive backs and linebackers, we got to go sideline to sideline as well. We also have to communicate while the ball's going to get snapped in 6 or 7 seconds. All you're looking for is somebody to just be out of the right gap, angle, or leverage on the defense, and it's a successful thing for the offense.
Out route to the sideline. Dollison's got it. Breaks the tackle. Lost his footing. Or he might have found the pylon. It'll be 1st and goal USF at the 10-yard line.
Yeah, quick little easy route. This is awesome ball placement by Fortin right there to Dollison. Something that's starting to show itself again for this offense. Sometimes they're condensing their splits, bringing those receivers closer to the football. It forces the corners just to play a little bit more off and soft, and creates easier throws to the perimeter.
Arian Felix on the 14th play of the drive. Stopped by Brenton Cox right at the 10-yard line.
Yeah, and Charlie Weiss Jr., their offensive coordinator, is going to have a play built off that motion. They brought Dollison in motion. If he pulls that Fortin and just kicks a little bubble out to him, he's going to walk into the end zone.
Right up the middle goes Felix. And now it's going to be 3rd down and goal from the 8-yard line.
Yeah, 3rd down in the red zone is always number one about what is the defense going to give us likely. This is where you try to anticipate a coverage. More than likely from Florida, you're getting this umbrella. Already so much better today on 3rd down for the Bulls offense, but you're going to get 4 across. All right, so how do you attack? You want to high-low the safeties. Put somebody a couple yards inside the end zone, someone on the back line, see if you can get a ball over their head.
And a timeout looks like it will be called from the sideline by USF.
Second charge, timeout of the half. South Florida. Media timeout.
In South Florida, equal the Gators. USF offense has the attention of the Gators. A 16-play drive that has reached the 8-yard line. We got a big 3rd down and goal coming up.
They've done all the little things right on this drive, both play calling wise and then execution by everybody in the offense led by Cade Fortin. If I was USF right now and I'm in this huddle going, how do we convert this 3rd and goal from the 7 or 8 yard line? I've got to start with Xavier Weaver. The junior out of Orlando is our best receiver. He's 6'1", but he plays bigger than that. He's got the ability to go extend his hands. And again, I mentioned this before the break. The challenge for a play caller is to try to guess right on the coverage. Anticipate Florida's going to pressure us. You want to equip your offense with a plan. If they give us the defense that we think we're going to get, let's run our play. But Cade, if you smell a pressure, you feel a pressure, and you want to check to something that protects you, and then the ball has the chance to go into a one-on-one situation for an opportunity throw, let's get to that. It's all about equipping your players with tools here.
Is there any part of this play where you're catching it in the field of play with the idea that you might get close enough to go for it on 4th down as well?
Beautiful drive like this, yeah, you can think if you get inside that 1 or 2 yard line, if you love some of your game plan play calls, you can absolutely go to that.
Let's see what Jeff's got. And Charlie Weiss Jr. designed for 3rd down and goal from the 8 after the timeout. Fortin, well protected, floats it in the end zone behind his intended receiver. And incomplete. He was looking for Weaver.
He had him. He had him. This is a good job by Weaver. He's going to have a wrap-in route. Sometimes you got to determine, am I going over the top or underneath? He goes over the top of Diabate, and all you want Fortin to do is throw that ball high, face masker higher, where he can go basically dunk the goalpost and go make that catch. Just a little bit of a miscommunication by quarterback and receiver there, but Weaver does the right thing.
So Spencer Schrader to try and cap a long drive with at least some points. And from short range, he does. It is now 7-3 Gators, and we'll be back in 10 seconds. Now a look from Ram Trucks.
Ram Trucks, built to serve.
That incompletion from Cade Fortin to Xavier Weaver, Dan, was the first incompletion of the drive for USF. Fortin was 6 for 6 for 51 yards on that drive until that miss.
Well, that's the big thing that you want to focus on the sidelines right now if you're Jeff Scott and Charlie Weiss Jr. That was a fantastic drive. I mean, the quarterback was efficient and deliberate with the football. Playmakers caught the ball, got upfield. Offensive line gave protection. So that's a very good drive. Sometimes you walk away going, gosh, what a great drive. You really won 7, obviously. But continuing to build up your players and their confidence is going to be a huge part of the game today for USF and for the program moving forward.
The trick play at the start of the drive could have easily been a touchdown as well. So to have that disappointment of dialing up a play perfectly and not having it work out, but then to respond 17 plays and get some points on the board. Pretty good job.
Classic from you, the Jersey guy. Find the negative.
I'm trying to spin it towards the positive, though. All right. The positive last week off the bench was Anthony Richardson. And we were told by Dan Mullen, expect to see him in the 3rd possession. Here is possession number 3 for the Gators, and it looks like Richardson's coming in.
Electricity. That's what he brought last week. That's what they expect him to bring today. There was some stuff that Dan Mullen said, listen, he got away with plays against maybe an inferior talent opponent. He's not going to be able to do that consistently when we play the Alabamas and think it's going to be successful long term.
He'll throw on his first play, and he's going to float one up top. Jacob Copeland in stride. Looking for the end zone. He finds it for a 75-yard Gators touchdown.
Well, how about that for electricity? Just a beautiful throw by the redshirt freshman Anthony Richardson. An awesome job of Copeland going to track that ball.
Howard adds the point after. And just like that, after a long USF drive gets them on the board, one snap for the Gators, and they extend their lead.
Now, just a great route by Copeland. Push vertical, step on his toes, lean out, and then you've got to cross that safety space. But I love that. I love the ability to go track the football down. Not an easy catch by Copeland. Beautiful play designed by Dan Mullen. Ball fake. Watch the left side of the screen. Zipper sits down. And you tell Anthony Richardson, you're going to have a lot of space to go throw that football to. It's an absolutely perfect throw by 15. Watch this ball just jump out of his hands. Beautiful touch. Copeland goes and tracks it down. See his eyes? For all the young kids at home, watches it right into his hands. There's nothing better as a play caller, I would imagine, than you dial up a play, it should work, they execute it, and then you see the joy on your players' faces. Okay.
So now how does USF respond? As they go on a long, time-consuming 17-play drive that gets them only 3, and they give up a home run on the next snap from scrimmage. Here's Jimmy Horn. We'll check that fatigue. He breaks a tackle, gets out to about the 25-yard line. What a lineup we have for you this weekend and Monday. As we said, the U.S. Women's Final at the Open is this afternoon on ESPN. Saturday Night Football on ABC. Washington in Ann Arbor against Michigan. The U.S. Open Men's Final is tomorrow afternoon on ESPN. And then Week 1 Monday Night Football in Vegas. The Ravens and Raiders. That's on ESPN and ABC. Peyton and Eli Manning are on ESPN2, with ESPN Plus having even more options as well. Tons of ways you can enjoy Monday Night Football. A floater to the sideline. Xavier Weaver's got it. Terrific floating throw from Cade Fortin for 24 yards.
Yeah, I love the pocket movement. Watch. Okay, I feel a little bit internal pressure. Eyes downfield, and let me just float this over the trailing defender to Weaver. Fortin seems to certainly have settled in after that first drive of this game.
Underneath for about 4 yards to Latrell Williams, who loses his helmet. Walked down by Avery Helm.
Another condensed split by those receivers. I mentioned it before. When you do that, it forces the secondary to get soft 8 yards deep or something, because you don't want to get up and press in a first down situation and condense splits, because there's so much picks and rubs and meshes that come off that. You soften up, and it gives easy access throws to the perimeter. Nice job by USF's offense again.
Jaron Mangum. Submarines for a yard. So now it's 3rd down and 5. Diabate was there along with Javon Dexter.
This is where they've gone to some quick games so far today. They've tried to create some matchups. Remember, last 3rd down and 5 situation, Florida pressured. USF checked the play and ran away from it. So Todd Grantham, the defensive coordinator for Florida, might choose, you know what, we're not going to blitz here. We're just going to play man-to-man coverage and say, our guys are better than your guys.
They're going to bring a blitz. There's the slant behind it, and it's good for a first down. Omarion Dollison was able to wall off the coverage and pick up 6.
And they went after the redshirt freshman Helm from Texas. You know, Dollison does a great job with the slant, and their corner opposite, Kyer Elam, the All-American, is going to get a lot of work this season.
Back to the near side to Dollison. 5 more.
Okay, so that is the 4th condensed split. Quick out. The double move is coming. The quick out and up is coming. Florida's defensive secondary is going to have to remain disciplined, not get too jumpy.
Cade Fortin last week was 7 of 20 for 41 yards with a pick on the road at NC State. He's already 10 for 11 for 90 yards here in the first quarter. There comes a blitz off the edge. They'll run away from it again with Felix. And he's about 1.5 yards short of the first down as Chris Bogle made the stop. So another 3rd down coming for USF.
You know, you hear people talk about we got to stay ahead of the chains. This is what it looks like. This is what staying ahead of the chains as an offense presents itself as.
Well, they were 4 for 6 on 3rd down before Felix is blown up behind the line of scrimmage by Zach Carter. And now what do you do? Now it's 4th down and about 3 inside the 35-yard line. You have to go for this, don't you?
Yeah, I think so. Your offense has been super efficient in the 3rd and 4th and short situations. These always come down to game plans. This is when the coaches kind of earn their money. Hey, in these situations, the defense is going to play in this type of coverage, and we can go after this guy. If I'm South Florida, I'm thinking going after 24, Avery Helm. I'm not testing the top of the screen with the All-American Kyer Elam. I'm figuring out a way to work to the bottom of the screen in that bunch set.
4th down. Fortin back to throw. Pressure coming. Tries to extend the play to the sideline, and it just did not have enough on it to get to Latrell Williams. USF gives it away on downs. Brenton Cox put Fortin on his horse.
Yeah, they're really trying to sneak the tailback out against man coverage. And Florida does an awesome job of playing disciplined football and covering up in their guy, and Fortin really doesn't have an option. That's not a bad play by the quarterback. You'd love for him to kind of make something out of nothing there, but that rep was won defensively by Florida in sniffing out USF's play.
Dan Mullen staying true to his plan. Anthony Richardson, 1 pass, 75 yards, touchdown, right back on the bench. And Emory Jones is back in there at quarterback. He'll go play action. He'll find a cutter in Xavier Henderson. Henderson breaking tackles to the 50.
I like that rep by Emory Jones because it just looks instinctual. It doesn't look like a guy trying to think his way through the position. It looks like a guy trying to just react his way through the position. Ball fake, someone in my face, kind of a sidearm sling snap to that wrapped slant, and a good ball placement.
Well, you said watch Emory Jones' feet.
Yeah.
What have you seen so far?
Yeah, the first drive, it wasn't good. You know, it was very deliberate. And now he's starting, again, play a little bit more reactionary.
Well, he's going to run it himself here and spin for 3. That could take us to the end of the quarter. Florida does not have to run another play before the end of the first. Emory Jones is looking over. Dwayne Boyles made the stop. Well, they're going to line up. Looks like they may get one more play in before the end of the second or the end of the first quarter. Down to 5 seconds. Taquan Wright ends the first quarter with a gain of 4. Andrew Mims made the stop. So a 3rd down for the Gators when we come back to start the second quarter. Early on, the Gator defense harassing Cade Fortin.
Very close. Emory referred to Anthony as his little brother. They both publicly supported each other on social media this week. And when you watch them on the sidelines, sitting next to each other, constantly chatting to each other in between possessions.
Emory Jones has waited 3 years to become the man, having an opportunity now to be the starting quarterback for Dan Mullen. And he's got Anthony Richardson right in his rearview mirror. He'll keep one here on third down to start off the second quarter and come up about a half-yard short. So with an 11-point lead, fourth down and a foot in plus territory, and Dan Mullen not hesitating. They're going to go for it.
Yeah, with this big offensive line of Garage and White and Egwukan, they should go for this. Dan Mullen mentioned last night, Felipe Franks and Kyle Trask are both on NFL rosters. Both guys were at the quarterback spot here at Florida, and they just waited for their opportunities, and it worked out.
A pitch to Naquan Wright, trying to get to the edge. Breaks a tackle and picks up the first down. A chance for a takeaway on downs for USF, and Mekhi LaPointe could not make the one-on-one tackle on Wright.
Speed option off the defensive end. LaPointe is there, and it's a beautiful job by Naquan Wright. I mentioned it before, BYOB. Now, you probably think of that as something different.
You know what I think of, yeah.
But sometimes you got to make that guy miss, and that's shown itself a little bit by Pierce and Wright in this first half.
Jet sweep. And Xavier Henderson got a yard. But, boy, when you think about the margin for error against an opponent like this, if you're USF, you have to make that tackle. Yes. You have to get that takeaway. You know, that if you have a chance to get a one-on-one to stop a team on downs when you're a big-time underdog and you have a chance to maybe fight your way back into it and pull off an upset, that's just a tackle that Mekhi LaPointe can't miss. Naquan Wright to the 30-yard line. 2 yards shy of the first down after he picked up 7. Vincent Davis brought him down. So another third down and 2 for Florida.
Not only are you happier with the way Emery's kind of operating as a passer, but he looks more decisive when it comes to their quarterback run and zone read game as well.
And this will be a false start. Looked like Richard Garage, the left tackle, jumped early.
False start. Offense, number 76. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
And that's the first penalty for either team.
But these are good situations for a player like Emory Jones to be in. Again, second college career start. So now you're in the 3rd and 7 range, 35-yard line, where, yes, the goal is to go get that first down. But this might be 4-down territory. So the decision-making is paramount in his growth and development in this situation.
Jones steps up in the pocket, floats one down the sideline, looking for the end zone. He drops it in beautifully. Touchdown, Xavier Henderson, 35 yards.
Watch Henderson here up top. Xavier Henderson, 3rd and 7. So he's going to give him a double move. Sit your feet down at 7 yards. Stutter quick. The corner just hesitates for a second. It's just an absolutely spectacular throw by Emory Jones. But I love the play call mindset. 3rd and 7. Defensive backs are always thinking, they're going to go to the sticks. They're going to run their route just to get the first down. And you see Dan Mullen's face. That's the second time a beautiful play call has been designed, called, and executed by these Florida quarterbacks.
21-3. The Gators went 3 and out on their opening possession. They have been deadly since. These general scholarship funds. We thank you, Allstate. Bob Wischusen, Dan Orlovsky, Chris Budden. Raymond James Stadium. Jones and Richardson each with a passing touchdown. Last week, only 153 total passing yards against FAU. They've almost collectively equaled that here in the first 17 and a half minutes.
A little better. I think the big thing is both of those guys, Anthony threw one pass, but have been decisive with the football, specifically Emory after his first drive. And then there's been some explosion in the pass game. The ability to push the ball downfield has definitely jumped up in the first half today.
Well, tomorrow at 10 a.m., Sunday NFL Countdown Week 1. A premiere this season with Patrick Mahomes sitting down with former Chiefs teammate, now colleague of ours, Alex Smith. And then our Monday Night Football matchup sees the Ravens take on the Raiders in Vegas, 8 Eastern on ABC and ESPN this week, ESPN Deportes, and the ESPN app as well.
And the Ravens are beat up. 5 guys on IR with ACL injuries. They've got to get some depth at the tailback quickly.
Well, not too bad when all of a sudden you got Latavius Murray just kind of sitting there as a 1,000-yard rusher that they brought in. And Darian Felix finds a cutback lane and picks up about 3.5 to 4. Plus, they put Devontae Freeman and Le'Veon Bell on the practice squad.
Yeah, I'm not thinking much about Devontae Freeman and Le'Veon Bell impact-wise. Thankfully, they have one of the best quarterbacks in football still in Lamar. But
he runs a bit.
Those guys, yeah, he's not a bad player.
Blitz coming. Fortin off his back foot, has a seam shot, and overthrows it.
Again, they try a trick play. They actually run a fullback out to the bottom of the screen, hoping the defense is going to run that way. And then off the left side of that screen, Weaver's going to try to take that seam. What you would love right there is Joyner to get that that blitzing linebacker to give me just a second to get that ball out better.
Jeremiah Moon had a free pass to the quarterback. And the pass for Weaver was rushed by Fortin, so that brings up 3rd down and 7. Again, the Gators show blitz. Here they come. This time it's much more effectively picked up. But that pass broken up. Intended for Bryce Miller. Well done by Jadarius Perkins.
Yeah, watch Perkins, 27. He's a slot there. Now there's Miller, the slot receiver. Look, this is a beautiful job, Perkins. Drop your... Now watch the left arm. That's outstanding by the transfer from Missouri. You see how he settled his feet, drove on the football, gets on the receiver's back, but just bats that ball away with the left hand. That's teach tape. Defensive back play.
Andrew Stokes, the Australian punter for USF, 27 years old. This is his 2nd ever football game. Not college football game, like the 2nd ever football game he's been at.
Me too.
Last week was his day to play. It was impactful, as you saw. 75-yard touchdown pass. And he will start now at his own 20-yard line with a 21-3 lead. Bob Wischusen, Dan Orlovsky, Chris Budden. Malik Davis. Now to about the 27, maybe the 28-yard line for a gain of 8. If you're Florida, can you live this way the whole season? Is it possible to play both Emory Jones, have a role for Anthony Richardson, and have this be like a symbiotic relationship between the two quarterbacks the whole year?
You might be able to because of that man on the screen right now, Dan Mullen. You know, such a smart offensive mind. You can do it as long as they both play well.
Davis picks up the 1st down.
What I mean by that is if Emory Jones is the starting quarterback and he's playing good, but then they sprinkle in Anthony Richardson and he starts to struggle, I don't think it's going to happen. Then the team, the locker room is going to go, well, why is Anthony playing? Our best option is Emory. Or flip, if Emory's the starter and he's struggling, Anthony comes in and you get those wow explosive plays, everyone's going to go, well, we're just better with Anthony. So as long as they're playing well and playing well and their egos are away from it, yeah, because the play caller is so good, I think you could pull it off.
Easily shaking off a possible sack as Richardson, and there he goes to midfield and steps out of bounds. You can see the strength of a 240-pound quarterback. Combine it with that athleticism, he's really hard to bring down.
Similar to last week, though, there's a little bit of a pressure he doesn't pick up, and he's good enough and athletic enough to shake it off against some talent that's not as good. But Dan Mullen brought it up last night. The question is he going to be able to do that against Alabama? Is he going to be able to do that against LSU or a Florida State? You know, when the talent is equal, and that's where Dan Mullen, wants to see Anthony Richardson grow at the position.
Malik Davis into a mosh pit near the line of scrimmage. Obviously, if you're doing something that's working, sure, easy to stick with it. And if both guys are playing well, why not? Let them both go play well. But over the course of a 12-game, maybe an SEC championship game, bowl game season, they're both not going to play well the whole year.
Right.
So when one of them invariably doesn't play well, what do you do? Do you stick with this formula and say through thick and thin, both of these guys are going to get snaps no matter what?
Well, I think part of the process, number one, is how do they look in practice? You know, are they continuing to practice the right way? And the second thing is, if one of them starts to not play well, why? You know, don't be so tied to, well, he didn't play good. Well, why did he not play good? Is it because we didn't protect the right way, or, you know, he was off with his protections, or he just missed some throws? If you figure out the why and you can live with it, yeah, I think they can go for a while doing it this way.
You thought about quarterback run. Instead, it's a fake and a touchdown. Unsold quarterback draw. And it looked like USF bit.
This is why Raymond is so good.
Training facility. Why not? But it's been all Florida against USF so far here in the first half. And Anthony Richardson and Emory Jones, it's almost like anything you can do, I can do better.
So 2 for 2 for 100 yards and 2 touchdowns day.
Well, competition's a good thing, right? I mean, it can drive both to excel. Kick out of bounds, so this will give the ball to USF out at their own 35-yard line.
Free kick out of bounds. Kicking team number 71. Ball will be placed on the 35-yard line. First down.
Let's check in again with Kevin.
Bob, did you say Excel time now for our celebration moment? Brought to you by Allstate. Back to Columbus. I love this book. CJ Verdell up the middle, and he'll win the foot race.
Yeah, the Buckeyes linebackers are in the wrong position. The safety missed the tackle, and CJ says, I will holla in the horseshoe.
No Kayvon Thibodeau, and the Ducks are up by 14 early in the second half. Back to you guys.
Eye-opening.
Yeah, Ohio State tackling like Booger McFarland.
And so it begins as Jimmy Horn picks up about 4.5.
You mentioned the Florida quarterback room, and you used the right word, competitive. The big thing is to never allow it to be combative. And there's a very fine line with how Florida can manage that within their program leading up to a huge week next week against Alabama.
T tries to bounce it outside, and he'll lose yardage. Could not turn the corner and get away from Zach Carter. He lost 3.
Yeah, I think one of the big things that Todd Grantham, the defensive coordinator for Florida, wanted to see out of his defense was really setting the edge, making sure that players like Carter and Cox and Moon don't allow the football outside of them. And there was a couple moments in the first couple of drives where it happened. It's a really good job by Carter there of making sure he holds that edge.
So now it's 3rd down and 9. Here comes the blitz. Sporting. To the sideline, it's intercepted. Jeremiah Moon put big-time pressure on Cade Fortin and Kyer Elam. The preseason All-American gets the pick. He had 3 last season, and that's his first this year.
I'd say, first of all, don't block. Basically a defensive end with the tailback. That's Moon right there, and they're going to ask Battie to try to block him. Not going to happen today, bud. And Moon puts pressure on Fortin. He's got to let it go early. That is an absolutely ridiculous interception by Elam. You talk about the ball skills. Wow. Full extension, the ability to kind of David Tyree it from the Giants on his head. That's a remarkable pick, but it all came down to Moon and his pressure.
I feel old. I remember his dad playing for the Jets. As his dad, Abe, after going to Notre Dame and Kent State, spent time with 5 different teams in the NFL, including the Jets, and of course his uncle Mac, all SEC defensive back with the Gators and a first-round pick by the Ravens. So the tradition continues, and Kyer might be the best of the bunch.
That was a great pick, man.
So starting at midfield, Emory Jones. Play action. He's looking for a big play. Has all day and finds a check down to Dameon Pierce. And Pierce will pick up a first down and then some. Gain of about 13.
It's a great job by that offensive line. You know, it's one of the benefits of play-action pass is giving protection. How good has Florida's offense been today? They started off rocky 3-and-out and touchdown. And again, you see a 1-play drive and a 4-play drive. I mentioned it before. The big plays have showed up in the first half.
Jones spins for 5, maybe 6 yards on what looked like a broken play. It looked like he was thinking about faking the handoff or maybe doing a zone read to one side, and the back went the other way. Thad Mangum was there to bring him down.
Remember before I said you really wanted to see Emery play a little bit more instinctual and reactionary today? That's another example of it. A guy who might be trying to be perfect and thinking too much. Tailback went the wrong way. Oh, what do I do? Instead, he's like, okay, I'm just going to follow my blockers, which you get taught as a young quarterback, and try to find something, and he did with 5 yards there.
Now the option and a crease for Jones. To the 10, to the 5, another Gators touchdown. 5 straight scores for Florida.
With a bit of a speed option to get off the edge. This time the man on the line of scrimmage, the left side of your screen, he's going to take the back, and Emery Jones just has to beat the safety. Vincent Davis makes him miss, cuts back inside. And like you said, another scoring drive for the Gators offense.
I think Emery goes back to the sideline, finds Anthony Richardson, and goes, all right, your turn, bub.
What can you do, bro?
Your chance. You're up next. They've just alternated touchdowns. 3 now for Emery Jones, 2 for Anthony Richardson, 5 straight.
Plus, we get you ready for that top 10 showdown in Ames, Iowa, Iowa State. Booger McFarland will join me. By the way, Dan, Boog likes all his food with seasoning. You should try it. Back to you.
Yeah, I think Booger likes any kind of food, whether it has seasoning or not. So the last person that I'm going to take eating advice from is from Boog.
Yeah, well, the last person any of us are going to take food advice from is you. Some of the recommendations you have made on Twitter have been disturbing, to say the least, as Jimmy Horn gets taken down shy of the 15-yard line this afternoon. Our ABC College Football triple header continues. Number 10, Iowa. Number 9, Iowa State in Ames at 4:30 Eastern. And then Saturday Night Football presented by Capital One. Michigan, Washington. You can watch all the games all season long on the ESPN app as well. Arian Felix, cutback run for a first down. He picks up 13 yards. And Cade Fortin, it has been an odyssey to get to the point where now he is the starting quarterback at USF. The first drive of the game was a 3-and-out, but the second drive of the game was a 17-play drive that resulted in a field goal. They got some rhythm going. Now off his back foot, floats one over the middle of the field. Terrible decision, and Rashad Torrance picks it off. There is a flag down, it looks like, as well.
The flag being in the defensive backfield, kind of where the receiver and Torrance were matched up with, leads me to think PI.
Holding. Defense, number 3. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. 10 yards, first down.
Jason Marshall, the true freshman corner, gets called for the foul.
Yeah, it's a double move. Mentioned it before. Fortin moves and kind of just throws that ball up. Now, I don't know if he saw the flag. I don't know if he saw the PI. I don't like that decision unless he had already seen that the flag was thrown on Marshall for that holding, because if he threw it up, it's a poor decision on his end.
Felix picks up about 1.5 yards. Chris Bogle makes the tackle.
Yeah, I don't think... I think the holding happens well before that. Usually, so double move, right? When I sell a route as a double move, the corner, if it gets beat, you often tell the corner, hey, just grab him. You know, it's better to give up that penalty in the yardage rather than something to go over your head. So I think that flag happened sooner.
Felix tries to get to the outside. Brought down shy of the 40-yard line by Amari Burney. Chris?
Yeah, Bob, a lot of miscommunication on the South Florida offense. In between possessions, wide receivers talking about where they should be on their routes. Cade Fortin trying to keep the rest of his guys cool. Not a lot rattles them. trying to show some patience to the rest of his guys.
Jeff Scott talked about execution. You know, in comparison last week, he said the effort was good. Our execution wasn't good enough. I asked, how do you get it good? And he just said, hammer it home, hammer it home.
Shovel pass right into the blitz.
Hammer.
Rashad Torrance lays out Darian Felix. And it'll be a USF punt.
And Torrance comes off the edge right here, right side of your screen, shovel pass. He's the last guy. It walks right into Felix. Torrance, a guy that played on the field and kind of got thrusted on the field last year and struggled a little bit. And they think he's developed so much defensively, and the flaws of last year, or the mistakes of last year, have helped him grow.
Stokes angles a punt to the sideline. So with the Gators scoring on 5 consecutive drives, all touchdowns, will it be Anthony Richardson's turn again? He's 2 for his last 2.
Yeah, it was a beautiful play design on that last touchdown pass. You're going to see the play action pass, holds the linebackers, moves the pocket, and he just has to set up and then throw that ball to space to Jacob Copeland, who just crossed that safety face. Now we fake the bubble, watch Shorter in the slot, sell it. That safety's got vision on Copeland. Just run by your guy. Bad eyes by the defense, fake the quarterback draw, and it's just a beautiful throw by Copeland. So, again, I mentioned this. It is play design. You know, the play designed by Dan Mullins. It's spectacular. But then it's also the players, both Anthony Richardson and Emory Jones, going out and executing it on the field.
It's back to Emory Jones once again. He's got touchdowns on his last 3 possessions. And he finds Justin Shorter close to the first down line to gain.
Shorter's a guy that they want to get going a little bit. They'll find a way to get him the football. He's the transfer, 6'5", 230 pounds. As you see Robinson hurt there, the transfer from Rutgers. But they want to figure out a way to get forward the ball. They need him once they get into the heart of their SEC schedule as a pass catcher.
Once again to the sideline to a wide open receiver again. It is Jacob Copeland. Florida with late flags thrown after the play is over. They're averaging over 13 yards per play offensively. And we might tack on a few more here. Copeland is still down.
The play was over. Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness. Number 23, the defense. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down.
There's 23.
Thad Mangum.
Oh.
So hopefully for Copeland, all that is the wind being knocked out of him. He is able to get up and walk off the field. That is a no doubt about it, 15-yard foul.
Yeah, and you obviously, the game is 35-3, and if you're Jeff Scott, you're like, I want our guys to play hard, but you're not trying to take cheap shots either. You know, you're not. That's not who you want to be as a program. And you certainly want Mangum to be a leader when it comes to how hard they're going to play and not be tied to the scoreboard, but you don't want to have those late hits that are cheap shots coming from your defense.
That's the first penalty on USF. 3 minutes to go in the half. Renzo Lingard for about a yard. Wade Boyles made the tackle.
Boyles is a player that stood out on tape to me. When you watch him, he belongs no matter who the opponent is. He's violent, he's got heavy hands, he's super athletic, he's very smart as a football player. He stands out for the Bulls defense.
Led the team in tackles 2 years ago, but because, at least in part because of COVID, kind of a lost year last year. Emory Jones sidearms one down inside the 5-yard line, and Justin Shorter could not hold on. That was a really nice throw by Emory Jones on the move.
And it's one you just want to see Ford bring down. It's a good job by Emory, and he really gives Shorter a great opportunity to go make this catch. You've got it.
just go secure that ball on the sideline if you're shorter. And I mentioned it, he's a guy that they really need. They're going to need for him to go make those plays. It's not always going to be perfect. You're athletic enough. Go secure that catch.
Malik Davis lost a half yard on 3rd down and long, so playing it conservatively, the Gators. And let's see if they punt it, play field position. Doesn't really matter up 35-3. They may decide to go for it. We'll see. Well, here comes the kicking group.
I think this is a good decision by Dan Mullen. Again, I know it's not going to be impactful for the game, but it's also a great game rep for your punter to work on his punting, your gunners to go track the ball and see if you can pin someone inside their 5 or 10-yard line.
Inside the 15-yard line, Jeremy Crawshaw creates the fair catch. And we've got a few of our upcoming AAC football games on ESPN Plus. This afternoon, 7th-ranked Cincinnati hosts Murray State at 3:30 Eastern. Next Saturday, the Bulls will take on Florida A&M. Those are just 2 of over the 20 games that we have for you on ESPN Plus this season. If you're a fan of the AAC, you got to have it. Sign up today at plus.espn.com/AAC.
I hope that we could get Coach Mullen's reaction after that punt by Chrisman. He was not happy because you choose to punt from 40, 35-yard line, and it's only a change of 20 yards or so. Mullen was very animated.
Kelly Joyner picks up 4 with a flag thrown after the play.
Personal foul, face mask, number 0, the defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down. Number 3 can stay in the game. Number 3 can stay in the game.
That's the 3rd Florida penalty, that one on Trey D.
I thought it was on Brenton Cox and not Trey Dean, but I think that now if you're South Florida, minute 25 seconds left. You see here. Yeah, I think that's Cox, and I think it's incidental. That wasn't intent. You want to get into your 2-minute rhythm here.
Joyner bottled up right at the line of scrimmage. Mahmoud Diabate finishes him off for no gain.
I mean, these are good reps moving forward. You play 2 Power 5 teams in the first 2 weeks. If you're South Florida, you're trying to figure out who's your quarterback for the heart of your schedule. These are great reps to get into really your 2-minute offense and allow them to execute.
Lob down the sideline. It's a jump ball. Trying to pull it in and unable to do so was Latrell Williams with Avery Helm there.
This is a great job by Helm, the redshirt freshman, who they've gone after today. Watch how he fights through. Okay, there now pull the ball away. Man, that's spectacular. Because if he doesn't, Williams is going to go make that catch. And as he's falling down, he rips that ball away with the left hand, forces that incompletion. That's really well done.
A lot of throws from Cade Fortin off the back foot with momentum going in the wrong direction. He'll hand one off here on 3rd down and long, and Joyner will get run out of bounds by Rashad Torrance, well short of the first down with 45 seconds to go in the half.
I think for South Florida, it's going to be big to go into halftime, because if you look at their sideline right now, and if Chris is down there, I'd love for her to tell us what the vibe is right now from her perspective, because from up here, it's just dead. And this is a program that is rebuilding. And the hardest part is when you are getting beat up like this through the first 6 quarters of your season, you really need great leadership on the sidelines to allow guys to feel like, all right, we still got to go play.
Henderson, that'll be kick-catch interference, as he had signaled for a fair catch. and was hit pretty hard trying to go over to field the ball. So that'll be a 15-yard penalty against USF.
Kick catch interference. Kicking team, number 8. 15 yards from the spot of the foul. First down.
So that will give the Gators the ball. Now close to their own 40-yard line.
Yeah, and in comparison to South Florida, I think Dan Mullen should try to get some 2-minute work in here today. Their quarterbacks have played so well. You see Emory's numbers and Anthony Richardson 2 for 2 for a measly 78 yards of completion. Is that right? 58 yards of completion. Hey-yo. 7 public school kid, 58 yards of completion. I think you want to get some 2-minute reps in here for your offense.
Well, Emory Jones will get a chance with 35 seconds to go in the half. And Daquan Wright to his left.
You laughed way too hard at the 78-15.
Spinning out of a tackle is Daquan Wright. Bouncing off South Florida Bulls. And he picks up a yard. That's a hard-working yard. 23 seconds to go in the half.
You've got 3 timeouts if you're Florida.
You're also winning 35-3.
I get that, but there's nothing better than getting situational football reps in real live games. It's not a disrespectful thing. It's Emory Jones is in his 2nd career start. They're getting into the heart of their season.
And who do they play next week?
Yeah, I just think it's important to get as many reps as you can in those situations.
Finds Malik Davis. And just the maturity of a quarterback to do that, right?
Yeah.
To make a good decision, see the check down and take it.
Yeah, and if you get a completion here on 3rd down, you could pop a timeout and then get some chunk plays, again, to try to get yourself in the field goal range, because you don't know the next time Emory Jones is going to be in a game-like situation where it's going to matter. The 2-minute drill in operation is going to matter. Right here, you're thinking completion, get a 1st down, pop your timeout.
Give it to Daquan Wright. He's not going to pick up the 1st down. So that will most likely take us to halftime.
I love Dan Mullen. I don't like that. I think they should have taken advantage of those reps.
I'm going to veer towards praising Dan Mullen and the fact that his team's got a 35-3 lead at halftime. But that's where we're different. The halftime report is coming up in just a moment. 35.
Because this USF defense has shown some different things than what they saw on tape a week ago. So the only thing that I would like to see out of my offense is a little bit more efficiency.
More efficient, where they were averaging 13 yards per play before the last drive. But I love that out of Coach Mullen, you know, kind of very much setting the mindset of we can still do things better and not to rest on, oh, it was easy today.
We knew we were going to see both USF quarterbacks as well. And Timmy McClain, the true freshman, starts off the 2nd half with a handoff. And it's a 1st down carry for Jared Mangum. McClain, the lefty, he's got an arm. You know, he's came in and had some moments last week against NC State. 7 of 13 for 126 yards, but a couple of interceptions that short-circuited drives. They'll lob one down the sideline here, looking for Weaver, and a flag out. Avery Helms going to be called.
Pass interference. Defense, number 24. 15 yards. Automatic for the 1st down.
It's a good job by Weaver trying to fight back for the football. Helms got his eyes on it.
Just kind of puts his hands on Weaver as he goes down to the ground. You were talking about Timmy McClain, and I'd say 2 things that stood out were, you know, he thinks fast at the position. It showed, and they're just carried himself on tape with the it factor. You just want him to value the football way more, not try to win the job on every single snap.
A keeper here. And that's good for a first down for the Bulls. Well, Jeff Scott told us, had he played better last week, he would have won this job and been the starter today. The reason they went back to Cade Fortin, who was clear-cut the best quarterback after the spring and the fall, was because Timmy McClain didn't take the bull by the horns, for lack of a better phrase, and take over and win the job. Underthrown ball here, and it's incomplete down to the 5-yard line. Jason Marshall, step for step in coverage on DeMarcus Gregory.
Yeah, Gregory does a great job stacking, and Marshall just kind of hand fight, little tug, and then at that last second does a good job of looking back for that ball and getting in the way of Gregory. I mentioned it before. What you want is Timmy McClain not to go and strain so hard to go win the job, and that forces you to make mistakes.
Zone read here, and Felix lost a yard.
You really just want him to play, I guess, that piece, to play, hey, coach, you called the play. I'm just going to go operate it and not try to make something, not try to take the job away. But when the opportunity presents itself, operate and execute in the way that tells coach, okay, he's now showing me that he's capable of going out and performing at the expectation level that we have.
Blitz coming. McClain, nice sidestep to avoid the pressure. And you have to think USF will go for it on 4th down and 4 as Moon and Helm combine on the tackle.
You know, we get into these conversations all the time with college football quarterbacks when teams are undecided on their starter. Sometimes there's things that a guy can do that another player can't, and that's a perfect example. McClain can go make that play on an unblocked rusher, and Fortin can't. And right now, this is where you want to see him grow. 4th and 5. You know you're going to get coverage. You've got to go make a throw here in a tight window.
Blitz coming, and he swings a pass to Petit that is underthrown, and USF turns it over on downs. Amari Burney is right there tracking Petit.
Yeah, he's going to get man coverage, and he wants to find Petit on a swing route, left side of your screen right now. You know, just a second late. You see that backside backer flow to the back, and because of the pressure, you really want him to see it as a true freshman. Oh, the throw has to go there. And for a guy that played fast last week, you just want him to see that quicker and make sure that ball gets out to Petit, and that's an easy first down.
What game draws your eye there? Obviously, the top 10 matchup between Iowa and Iowa State, but an in-state rivalry as well. Later on tonight, Utah-BYU on ESPN.
Yeah, I would say the Iowa State one, though, because Breece Hall for Iowa State, the tailback, excuse me, going against such a great defense in Iowa. You know, you want to see, is Iowa State really ready to go take that next step? You know, Iowa's got a top 3 run game defense since the start of last season. If Iowa State's really going to go and have that huge opportunity this year in the Big 12 and Matt Campbell and go to step forward, that's a game that they obviously have to go and kind of dominate today.
Emory Jones, nice fake. Gets to the edge and stutter steps for a first down.
I mentioned it before, not only the decision-making in the pass game, but in the run game as well. Emory sees defensive end, closes down, gives me an open space to my left, and going to get those yards on that zone read. And I think he's been way more decisive, both as a thrower and a runner. I had it in my notes last week. You know, there's a difference between being a great athlete and a great runner, and he's showing a little bit more of being a great runner today.
That puts him over 170 yards of total offense as Jacob Copeland keeps on fighting. And it looks like he may have shoved his way to the first down line to gain. He did. Took Matthew Hill for a piggyback ride.
Great fight by Copeland. Watch the patience. Slot receiver, push up, come out, catch the ball with your hands, fight up that defender, and keep going. This is his opportunity. The junior from Pensacola says, no, I don't care what the score says. I'm going to continue to play as hard as I can. Quarterback draw.
He throws an interception instead. A clean pick. Makai LaPointe down to the 10-yard line. yards on the return by LaPointe.
Yeah, this is LaPointe. He's going to drop down, okay? You got to have your eyes on anybody going to the flat right there. LaPointe is already outside the numbers. That is an easy play for him. And Emery just takes that snap, throw it out there. What you want him to do is catch that snap and keep his eyes down the field longer. That's going to make sure that LaPointe doesn't get towards the sideline and get underneath that quick kick route. I think, and I've said this, and you, Bob, you know it, as Dan, look at, that's exactly what he does with his hand there. He's saying, hey, he's already out there wider. There is a difference between assuming and predetermining. It's okay to predetermine as a quarterback. You know, I want to work here. But you assume I can get that ball there, that's when you get into mistakes.
McClain brought down at the line of scrimmage. Based on how good to that point Emory Jones had been, how much of a dent does that put into the thought process of Dan Mullen going towards that Alabama game next week when you see him go out there against an inferior opponent and still make a mistake like that?
Yeah, that's a tough one because it's relatively simple, you know, and you know that Emory knows better, that he's smarter than that. And it is a fine line for Dan Mullen and Emory Jones right now because, again, for the 10th time today, it's his second career start. But that is a relatively simple thing that you don't expect Emory Jones to make.
McClain down to the 1-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and goal. Rashad Torrance saved a touchdown.
Now you can see a little bit of the athleticism by McClain. Little fake pitch out, and he just follows his pulling guard and tight end Brinkman and gets inside that 1-yard line. I think quarterback run is up again for USF.
They want to go quickly, and it's an errant snap. Loose ball out to the 15-yard line. And it looks like the Gators were not able to recover. It will stay with USF, but they'll have to send a field goal group out now after 3rd and goal at the 1 becomes 4th and goal at the 15.
You know, one of the downsides when you get into those really short yardage situations, you see the effort by everybody on the field. McClain, Felix, somebody go find the football. When you get at that tempo and kind of the short yardage situations, offensive linemen get tense, specifically centers. That ball comes high and hot because they got to snap it and get their hands up so quickly, and that came too quickly for the true freshman.
Terrell Williams recovered the fumble, and that at least allows Schrader to attempt from 32 yards. He knocks it down the middle, and the Bulls have their second field goal. So the interception thrown by Emory Jones. You think about that during the kickoff, and then we will shatter his dreams and reveal that he's wrong. Weston will bring it back. Want to take a quick guess?
Yeah, I don't have the exact players attached to it, but I think it's going to be Jeff Driscoll era, so maybe 2012?
Let's answer our Aflac trivia question. Richardson, Davis, actually Tim Tebow and Percy Harvin in the national championship game.
Never heard of him.
January 8th, 2009, and unfortunately, maybe for our bosses to tune in right now back at ESPN, someone didn't read the game notes.
Percy Harvin was such an awesome player. Obviously, Tim was too, but Driscoll probably had 100 as a rusher at some point.
Well, maybe somebody took a glance at the game notes and just got the notes mixed up. Naquan Wright. Out to the 22-yard line. Well, while we were away, boy, the non-stop coaching continues between that coach and everybody that's ever played quarterback for him.
Yeah, you know, and there was a moment in the FAU game last week where Emory missed a throw, and on tape you can see Dan Mullen almost kind of putting his hands out and going, relax, you know, pushing to the ground a little bit. And I asked him about it. He said, part of my job is to figure out what makes these guys tick. Good job.
Emory Jones patiently allowed Xavier Henderson to come open for a first down.
Yeah, you use the word that's perfect, patient. Little toss fake. Watch the receiver from the right side, Henderson. Now sit in soft space. Emory, keep your eyes 1, 2, 3 and find Henderson on that cross. You just got to be patient while you move. But I was talking about Dan Mullen. You know, I got to know what makes guys tick, what gets them calm, what gets them energized, and who needs what. And I just thought it was a really good imagery of he's got a really good pulse for what a player like Emory Jones needs. And in that moment, you know, maybe cussing him out, so to speak, or screaming and yelling at him is not going to pay dividends.
Well, Emory Jones is the highest-rated quarterback that Dan Mullen has ever recruited as a head coach. But looking at some of the other quarterbacks that he has coached and what he has taken them from and what we may have expected of those players to where they have gone to, whether as a coordinator and a play caller or as a head coach, you're talking turning Alex Smith into the #1 pick in the NFL, the year that he came out of Utah. Tim Tebow, of course, a Heisman Trophy winner, and he became a #1 pick. Now, Dak Prescott, man, I called Dak Prescott games when he was at Mississippi State, and you thought really good, competitive football player and a really good college quarterback as Emory Jones. Quarterback draw. Picks up the first down. But when you watched Dak Prescott at Mississippi State, did you ever think he was going to become this as an NFL player?
I didn't expect the guy that was going to be what we saw Thursday night in this stadium. You know, Dak was incredible. And then go back to last year.
Kyle Trask.
Kyle Trask was, you know, we did the game when Kyle Trask came in when Felipe 2 years ago got hurt. And there was all these question marks of who is Kyle Trask? How is he going to be the Florida quarterback? And then he goes and sets the record last year for touchdown passes and becomes a high draft pick for the Buccaneers. And they're coached the right way. Dan Mullen coaches and develops these young quarterbacks the right way.
There's Naquan Wright. Cuts it back. And carries some tacklers close to another Florida first down. It's just over and over again. He takes different kinds of quarterbacks.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Runs different types of offenses. Accentuates their strengths. And I think makes these guys probably as good as they could all collectively be as college football players.
We talked to him about that yesterday. How are you going to take the offense, the players that you have this year, and try to reproduce the success, so to speak, of last year? And he looked and he's, listen, it's my job. You know, there's multiple ways to do what we did last year and try to find it this way. You just got to find different ways to do it. And maybe we build our pass game while we've got this very dominant run game throughout the season.
Play action fake all day again for Emory Jones to throw, and instead he throws another interception. This one's picked off by Brock Nichols. He tiptoes the sideline. So a couple of times for Emory Jones where maybe he is just not quite seeing it. And it'll be the continued tutorial on the sideline with Dan Mullen after he throws his second pick here in the third quarter.
I said last week Emory Jones just played slow. You saw the first interception, the possession ago by LaPointe. Slow. This is a slow rep. The defender up top is just a flat defender. Bottom of the screen, Whittemore is going to be coming on a crosser. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ball's out right now. You're 2 steps late, Emory. And, you know, this is where, watch the left side of your screen. That ball's out now. And you're just too late, and you allow that defender to just sink and sink. And this is where you've got to be critical of the performance, not the performer. You know, you got to be critical that Emory, you're better than this. You know you got to value the ball and play faster, and you can, and that's what's going to be frustrating for Dan Mullen.
Timmy McClain's going to take a shot downfield for the speedster. And Latrell Williams couldn't catch up to the lob from McClain.
And I'll be honest with you, if you're Dan Mullen, you do have to be sitting there with a feeling in your stomach of, uh-oh, that's not good. You know, you know that you can't, for as good as he was in the first half, you can't come out and make those 2 mistakes in the second half. You could see him pointing, you're hanging, and he's talking about that dropping defender. And he's telling Emory, listen to your feet, listen to your feet. You go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits, you can't throw that ball that late.
There's a quick hitter to Sean Atkins. He's to the 20-yard line. And you're right, if you're Dan Mullen, you have to be sitting there saying, if you're not seeing that against the USF defense, how could I ever imagine you're going to see it when we play Alabama?
Yeah, and you're not going to play fast enough. And when I say play fast enough, it's a thinking, it's a processing, it's a decision-making kind of routine that he's just not showing consistently, certainly in the second half.
Belly option here to Jaron Mangum. And he's down inside the 15 to the 12-yard line, Chris.
Yeah, I was listening to Dan Mullen talk to Jones. It's exactly what Dan has said. It's the decision-making, taking too long to process. He goes, when you hitch and you wait too long, that defender is sitting back there reading what you're doing. Take a step and then throw. Quit waiting.
McClain thought about a quarterback draw instead to the flat to Sean Atkins. And he's inside the 1 to the half-yard line.
Man, Timmy McClain has brought some juice to this offense. This is the third relatively good drive that he's been a part of. You can see his athleticism kind of making those plays to the perimeter of their offense and having a ton of success. I think you could have quarterback run up here. I think you could put him on the perimeter.
USF looking for their first touchdown of the season. Mangum at the goal line. He's got it. There's a Bulls touchdown.
Good job pushed by that right side of the offensive line. Wiggs and Jacobs, along with the senior Brad Cecil, do an awesome job of finally finishing off a drive for the South Florida Bulls. And I mentioned it, Timmy McClain has just infused some juice into this offense with his ball distribution and athleticism.
Trader tacks on the extra point. Well, USF on their second possession of the game had a long time-consuming drive and kicked a field goal. It had been a goose egg since then until back-to-back picks thrown by Emory Jones sets up their last 10 points. Week's matchup with Florida, but there could be a shakeup with Ohio State down by 2 touchdowns to Oregon. Notre Dame with an early lead on Toledo. And, of course, number 9 and number 10, Dan, play coming up next year on ABC.
That's going to be a fantastic matchup. I believe Ohio State just scored to turn it into a one-score game. I had mentioned that Iowa State game, and then you look at Iowa's offense with Petrus at his quarterback versus Brock Purdy, a long-time Iowa State guy who's still there. Both those quarterbacks will have to make some plays this afternoon.
Let's take a look at some stories as we honor those who serve. Brought to you by Navy Federal Credit Union. Jeremiah Moon, his father Greg, served 15 years in the Marine Corps, and Wesley McGriff commissioned as a second lieutenant in the U.S. Army in 1990 and in the reserves until 2001. How about USF analyst Will Baylor? Both of his parents in the Air Force. His mom was in the Pentagon on 9/11, and USF guard Demetrius Harris, both parents served in the Navy as well. So plenty to honor, and we thank all of them for their service. Emory Jones, 2 picks in this quarter, leading to 10 USF points. Play action here. Sidearms one to the sideline, and Justin Shorter comes back to make the catch for a first down. Pickup of 13.
So my initial thoughts right now with Emory back in the game, you talked about it in the first half, Bob. Can you do it? And I said if they're both playing well, you can do it. I'd be ticked off if I was Anthony Richardson right now. I'd go, Coach, I want the opportunity to go play. And I think Coach Mullen right now is just trying to instill some confidence in Emory. You can see that coming out and throwing on first down, trying to really go, okay, a couple mistakes, let's get you back.
Avoiding a sack, tucking it under, and picking up about 7 yards. Yeah, if you're Anthony Richardson, after watching back-to-back interceptions thrown by Emory Jones, are you sitting there maybe wondering what it's going to take for you to get back on the field?
Yeah, I would use different words if I could, but I'd be ticked off. I'd sit there and, hey, man, I've had the opportunity. I've played incredibly well. Why can't I go out there and show you more of what I could do after those mistakes?
Damian Pierce easily picks up the first down. Gain of 11.
And I promise you it's being thought by teammates as well. Your teammates can see. I'm sure some of those teammates were sitting there going, okay, is Anthony going to go out there? Is it now going to go be Anthony's turn after those 2 interceptions by Emory Jones?
After the Gators ran for 400 yards last week, they're over 200 on the ground today. And they'll add to it here. Emory Jones spins for 4.5 more. Chris?
Yeah, Richardson not quite as vocal as Dan would be in this situation. He has not gone up, talked to Dan Mullen at all. Really has just kind of sat by himself, smiling with his teammates, but has not pleaded his case.
A good teammate. It's a good teammate. I'm sure, I would hope inside he's sitting there going, I want to go get some run. But being a good teammate in that situation, great maturity by AR.
Maybe he just likes his passer rating to sit right where it is right now. 2 for 2 for 116 yards and a touchdown.
Well, I mean, it kind of goes back to what Dan Mullen said about the relationship and the friendship and the competition. And hey, we asked him, do you like the relationship and how those guys, Anthony came out and supported Emory last week. He's like, yeah, it was cool. But I'd also like for one of those guys to just want to go rip the job away from the other. And so it's good, but also maybe it's not so good in the sense of wanting one of those guys to go take leadership of it.
It'll be 4th down as Emory Jones picks up a couple, and Florida will leave their offense on the field. On Anthony Richardson was there on Twitter at least to support Emory Jones. Said, look, stay tuned and watch my guy work. He knows what he's doing. That's basically the backup quarterback kind of reading between the lines, saying to Gators fans, I'm not part of a quarterback controversy. I'm doing my part, but I'm going to support Emory Jones as well.
I think it shows great maturity and character. It does.
Malik Davis empties the backfield. Emory Jones, 4th down floater. Is that hauled in by Rick Wells? Broke it up. Couldn't hang on as he went to the deck.
It's a beautiful throw by Emory Jones. Wells tried to get that right hand stuck out. It's a great fight again as he can't just completely secure it all the way to the ground. But how about the South Florida defense getting off the field, giving the ball back to the young quarterback?
When he got to Florida, he's lost 80. They've got him listed as an even 400.
My favorite thing about him is he's wearing 21.
He is tough to move. There's an inaccurate throw from Timmy McClain. He was offered by Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, Mississippi State, Florida State, ended up coming to Florida. So it's not like he was just a big body that Florida took a chance on. There were plenty of other programs that knew that Desmond Watson could play some football.
Yeah, and I think Florida realizes special talent. And if they can control some of the things within when it comes to his size and make sure he plays at a super athletic weight, he's going to be an impactful defensive tackle.
Here comes a Gator blitz. McClain trying to escape, and he'll throw it away. Mordecai McDaniel came right up the middle as part of a safety blitz, along with the pressure of Trevez Johnson.
Timmy McClain just looks smooth. I know it's a throw, but just he looks smooth. And Jeff Scott, that head coach, has got to be thinking, maybe I'm watching a guy that we are going to turn to. He said the first 4 weeks of our season, win and develop and grow, but also figure out who's going to be our starter when we get into the heart of our conference schedule.
Andrew Stokes, that is a shank. And that is going to give the Gators the ball potentially near midfield. That's actually a very generous South Florida spot to the 40-yard line. There's been plenty of good with Emory Jones. How about the picks?
Well, he's going to watch the corner get soft and just assume that means easy coverage. LaPointe drops underneath. He doesn't see the whole picture. Now we got the play-action crosser. Ball's out now. Look at all that space you can throw to. Just drive it. But he hitch, and he's so late. Watch it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5 hitches. You will forever be taught as a quarterback when you are throwing a crossing route, if you haven't thrown that ball by that second or at most third hitch, bud, move on to the check down. And I think that's the thing. We started this show by saying, as AR is back in, watch his feet. And that's the perfect example of where he struggled last week and has did in the second half today.
So Anthony Richardson does get another chance to carry it himself. And lowers his shoulders and comes close to a first down. Picked up about 8.5.
I'm going to watch this super intently, me, Dan Orlovsky, because I want to see Anthony Richardson show me you want this job by the way you play, by the way you carry yourself. Capitalize on Dan Mullen going, all right, little struggle by number 5, Emory Jones. Let me see if you can handle the moment.
Another quarterback keeper. First down. Does it say anything to you that this is a young quarterback that comes to Florida and has no problem putting on 15 as well? What does it say about Anthony Richardson? Or did he not read the media guide?
I think everyone knows who wore 15 at Florida. I'm excited to watch the fourth quarter with him in that jersey. Show me that you want this job. Head of the Florida Gators.
Here's your AccuWeather station.
Florida has had some great quarterbacks over the years. I'm not sure how many of them, though, could do something like this.
Jeez.
That's Anthony Richardson in pregame warm-ups, just because he can.
Imagine just say, jog down with the team. Okay, here I come. Is that called a round off or a back handspring or?
Sure. Yes.
Landed like a butterfly.
With sore feet.
That was insane. Helmet on.
He's been a big play machine these first couple of weeks. And we'll see if Dan Mullen gives him the game the rest of the way after Emory Jones has thrown a couple of third-quarter interceptions. Here's Anthony Richardson off play action. Roll in the pocket. Floats one down the sideline. Copeland has it inside the 10.
This is just, these are these wow plays by 15. Play action, move the pocket, you're taking your shot. Nothing's there, I gotta move. Keep my eyes downfield, off balance, fade away, off platform throw, and it's an absolute pearl to Jacob Copeland. Look at the athleticism. See his eyes? Stay downfield and just that flick the wrist while I'm taking that hit. And you're throwing a ball into a very tight window. He misses that, that's a pick. I mean, Anthony Richardson looks like a guy that can flat out be a difference maker for Florida. I want people to know how hard that is, Bob. I mean, that play action pass was meant for him to move to his right. He can't, so now he has to move to his left. You see this? Like, watch. And then that throw is perfect.
I mean, this is clearly a catch. That's a catch in the NFL. That looked like 2 feet down, complete control from Jacob Copeland. So this, I don't think, is one they have to spend too much time reviewing.
That's a catch.
He's got 152 yards passing now. Both Emory Jones and Anthony Richardson each dead even with 152 yards passing. And now Richardson's helmet popped off. So he's going to have to leave the field for one play unless Florida calls a timeout to get him back out there.
After further review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Completed pass, first down, Florida.
Watch this again, all right? You're going to get a play action pass movement. Go to your right. Put your foot in the ground because you can't. Run away from people, someone barreling down on you, and throw a 50-yard ball, 45-yard ball against man coverage. There's things that just certain players just have talent that you can't necessarily coach it into them. That's a great example of, hey, this kid can just do some stuff that a lot of people are unable to do.
Quarterback run, Emory Jones. And we'll see if Anthony Richardson, especially with that last terrific pass, earns his way right back onto the field after losing his helmet for a play, or if Dan Mullen's going to stick with Emory Jones here inside the 5-yard line.
I would not be able to contain my emotion as well as Anthony Richardson is.
It looks emotion-free.
It's maturity, to be honest with you. I wouldn't be mature enough to just stand there and watch somebody else run my football team.
I can see that. Play action. Emory Jones floats one, end zone. That could have easily been picked. Threw it into traffic late again as Jaden Curry had a chance. Trent Whittemore, the intended receiver.
Yeah, it's 1-2. You're looking for Copeland to the left. It's not there. As Whittemore comes, now you throw that ball high into that pylon. And that's very similar to the interception he threw last week against FAU. And it should have been an interception. And again, I am shocked that Anthony Richardson is not on the field.
I think the Gator fans that are here, there was some boos we just heard. I think they're thinking the same thing. Emory Jones. That'll be 4th down and goal as he finds Malik Davis down to the 1-yard line.
this is definitely going to be a storyline to pay attention to in Gainesville, because you've got this young player that has done nothing but be electric when he's got in the field, and there's only so much you can hold back. You put all the work in and you take advantage of your opportunities when you get put in there, and then you kind of feel like it's getting snatched away from you. What's the deal, coach?
Play action. Back of the end zone again, a lob looking for the tight end. And that's broken up. Nick Elksness, the intended receiver. And he was not able to haul it in. So it's a turnover on downs. USF has it when we come back.
In exercise science, both of his parents are teachers. His dad, Ricky, an assistant principal with the Department of Juvenile Justice in Polk County, and mom, Carla, an assistant principal at Lake Gibson Middle School. He says he appreciates so much growing up with both parents as teachers. Didn't allow him very much on.
After the turnover on downs, a shot from the end zone. And McClain out to midfield. Xavier Weaver, 44 yards.
Okay, Timmy McClain. Watch Weaver on the post here. Win over the top. And now go run to that ball, track it down, catch the back end of it. What a great throw by Timmy McClain. Okay, that's what you look like, man.
Low snap. McClain handles it and goes down. He lost about 3. Desmond Watson with the tackle, and let's check in with Kevin.
Bob, back to Columbus. Down 7, Ohio State with the football here in the fourth quarter. Less than 3 minutes to go. C.J. Stroud, this can't happen, Bob.
No, it can't happen. And consistently throughout the first couple of games of the season, he's been high on a lot of throws, Kev.
Verone McKinley, and right now the Ducks have the ball. Trying to take all the time they can off that clock as they have the lead by 7. Back to you.
Looked like only one timeout as well for Ohio State, so they're going to be able to take a minimum of 90 seconds, maybe almost 2 minutes off the clock. Arian Felix picks up the 3 that McClain just lost, but it's 3rd down and 10.
I think this is a good opportunity for one. Really impressed with USF and just their fighting as a football team. They've stayed in this game, and then Timmy McClain has just been lights out. He looks the part. He has brought energy and juice both as a runner and a thrower. What a great opportunity. 3rd and 10. You got Florida up in the line of scrimmage. They're giving you a blitz. Can you communicate to the offense what you guys want to do? Read the coverage and find the right throw.
Now a timeout will be called by the Gators on defense from the sideline.
First time out of the half. Florida, 30 seconds. Media timeout.
35-13. In Gainesville are hoping will play a larger role in this game next week than he even has played in today's game against USF, but Alabama's won 7 consecutive matchups with the Gators.
And Alabama just looks so good. They looked so good last week against Miami. Explosive on offense, dominant and physical on defense.
After the timeout, 3rd down and 10. Timmy McClain. And now it's 4th down and 8 with 11:20 to go. And USF is going to punt. This is a white flag waving here to me. I mean, you've got a freshman quarterback, I get that, but you're down by 3 scores with 11 minutes to go. He's made some plays for you. Why are you punting here?
Yeah, I get your angle. I think as a head coach, you're trying to go through this process if you're Jeff Scott of playing good football. Certainly 4th and 8 is a little different than 4th and 2. So I can understand, hey, punting, and let's just try to continue to teach our young football team how to play the game the right way situationally.
Yeah, I don't know if I would want to go through the motions as a player and learn how to play better. I would maybe want my head coach to make decisions where I would have a chance to continue to win. As we take a look at our game track brought to you by Mission Tiger. And let's look at the numbers that Anthony Richardson has put up so far today. As again, he has been a big play machine.
Yeah, I mean, we saw a play action bomb early on, but it was a perfect throw to Copeland. Don't care if he was wide open. Then we saw another opportunity
opportunity with him as a playmaker on that play action where he moves to his left and throws against man coverage. So I've been impressed with him. I was very impressed with him last week on tape, and I've been impressed with his maturity, and I've been blown away with him as a thrower.
He'll run it here. Breaking tackles. Anthony Richardson in the open field. Stays on his feet. A big play machine. 80 yards. Touchdown. And he comes up limping. That is the last thing that a Gator fan wants to see.
Man, I hope that young man is okay, because he is special, electrifying, dynamic.
Boy, best case scenario, in the heat and humidity today, maybe that's just the quick onset of a cramp, and he'll be able to shake that off.
Yeah.
But regardless of who starts the game next week, regardless of whether or not there's a quarterback controversy, you want Anthony Richardson to play a role in the game next week against Alabama.
Listen to the fans. I mean, they know it. Bob, I would just ask you this. How do you keep him off the field?
Injury may be the only way that it happens.
I think it's tough to stay in your football.
He grabbed at the back of the right hamstring. And now you are a Gators fan. You're thinking about Alabama next week, and you are left to wonder about that young man's physical condition going into a game where if you pulled off the upset, it could make your season.
And, you know, how do you go pull off the upset, or if you do it? I don't think you need to be a football expert to be able to watch Anthony Richardson have played last week and then this week in comparison to, you know, some of the stuff that Emory Jones has done results-wise, and say, yeah, you know, 15 doesn't give us more.
Another update with Kevin.
Bob, Dan, you got Georgia looking for their first offensive score of the season. No JT Daniels out with an injury. Stetson Bennett's first pass, touchdown.
Yeah, when you run the ball like Georgia does, the play-action pass always sucks his defenders up. Easy to throw it over the top.
Bennett has also another touchdown pass. They're up 14-0 against UAB. And look at the score. First time Ryan Day's lost a regular season game in his Ohio State career.
OH? Oh, no. 269 yards rushing allowed.
How about that? Big win for the Ducks. We gonna see a great game in Ames. Iowa State, 30 minutes away.
Back here in Tampa, McClain hands one off to Brian Battie, and he weaves his way and keeps the pile moving. Looks like he'll get a push for a first down. But look, if you're a Clemson fan, you're an Ohio State fan, you don't want to hear this. If you're just generally speaking a college football
100%.
fan, losing those two teams in the first couple of weeks of the season, that throws a whole different dynamic into the college football regular season than we've seen in the last, feels like, decade.
Yeah, first of all, the oh no by Booger was spectacular. Yeah, I think it's good for college football. I love Ohio State and Ryan Day, and I love Dabo and Clemson. But to get Oregon into the picture now of going, ooh, you know, a different team that maybe is really surging, so to speak, and Mario Cristobal, their head coach, has done an awesome job. And now we've been begging for other teams to get into the college football playoff picture, and it certainly seems that Oregon has inserted itself into that conversation.
The winner of the Iowa State-Iowa game, Cincinnati.
Yeah,
I mean, some of these other teams that are in the top 10 are knocking on the door. You know, they see that the teams that basically have just been fixtures in the college football playoff lose early. Now, that's not to say that there still isn't a pathway for Clemson and Ohio State, if they run the table, to be back in the playoff. But it does make this season, you look at it through a completely different lens when those two teams lose early, as they have.
And I also think it's great for coaches around college football to show their teams, hey, some of these programs that people had dubbed maybe untouchable or unbeatable, if you play good, you can get them. You know, I'm sure there weren't a ton of people going, man, Oregon's going to go knock off Ohio State, and I believe it was in Columbus. You know, they can go do it, and it's great for even a guy like Dan Mullen as they play Alabama next week. Hey, guys.
30 seconds.
It doesn't matter necessarily what people say. You can do it. We've seen it twice in the first 2 weeks.
Media timeout.
USF calls timeout. We'll have third down when we come back. Taco Bell. And see how your school can compete. There were about 12,000 in the USF student section earlier today. And USF put a little bit of a scare back in the first quarter to the Gators, but a combination of Emory Jones in the first half, certainly, and Anthony Richardson throughout. Explosive touchdown plays, and it's a 42-13 Gators lead. Pitch and catch to Felix. And he is about 2.5 yards shy of a first down. So it'll be fourth down. That's fourth down and 4.
I'd like to see Coach Jeff Scott go for this one. You punted last time. I'd like to see you put Timmy McClain in this situation and see if you can go get, you know, kind of will your team to a first down.
And they're punting again.
My thing would be this. 3rd and 8, you got to the line of scrimmage, you saw the coverage, you checked to essentially what was a swing screen, and it got you 4 or 5 yards. If you're going to check to that play in that situation, it should be because you're planning on going for it on 4th down.
Finley Graham calls for a fair catch at his own 13-yard line. Well, Anthony Richardson's day is done, but he certainly put on enough of a show before he tweaked his hamstring on his last touchdown.
Just look at the revolutions of the football spin as you see the White to Copeland, little fake quarterback power pop. Again, the coverage isn't there, but both those throws are perfect. And then, as a quarterback, do you have the ability to, 1, run through a safety, and then 2, run away from a different safety? And you see both of those abilities on the long touchdown run by Anthony Richardson. He's just put on a show today, and he's taken advantage of every single opportunity that Dan Mullen has put him in.
Emory Jones hands one to DeMarcus Bowman. No gain on first down. Well, here's hoping that that hamstring injury is just a mild little tweak strain, that as the week goes on, he's going to be okay. Because that matchup with Alabama next week is way more interesting if Anthony Richardson's a part of it than not.
Yeah, because, I mean, he's averaged 38-plus yards per touch today.
That's ridiculous.
And so now, as a defense, if you're Alabama, who's got a remarkable defense, those guys are going to cut on the tape and go, wow, this kid looks good. He does some stuff to their offense that's just a little different. And, you know, for Dan Mullen, I do think he's getting close to a decision-making opportunity, decision-making time. And if you think that Anthony Richardson is mentally, mature-wise, capable of maybe dealing with some struggle that he might face against Alabama, and if he's healthy, I think it's tough to not sit there and go, okay, young man, here's an opportunity.
After Deion Reynolds was caught behind the line on the jet sweep, it is 3rd down and 15 for the Gators. Taking as much time off the clock as possible. Coming up on 7 minutes to go. And they'll keep it on the ground with Lorenzo Lingard. And the Gators will kick it away.
I don't think necessarily that the stretch of play calls by Dan Mullen, 3 straight runs, is an indication of Emory right now. I just think it's an indication more of the situation of the game. Backup offensive line. You're up 29. You're really focused on getting to the back end of this game and then getting your football team prepared for next week.
Xavier Weaver Makes the first man miss. Gets loose to midfield. Blockers out in front. Terrific return by Weaver. All the way down inside.